in your iPads. I'm going to pass out to you a little plant diagram. You're going to glue that in on page 6. You're going to leave a little bit of space on the top because we're going to write our I can statement. And you need to leave space all around it because you're going to be writing around it, okay? So don't glue it over here, over there, like in the middle, okay? Get out your glue. You gotta glue this on really quick, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you need help, ask your neighbor to help you. Raise your hand. Just like mine, right here. Glue it on page 6. Make sure you're on page 6. If you're done with that and you're still waiting, go ahead and turn your iPad on. We're going on to our notability, where we have our book about plants. So turn on your iPad when you're done. Put that glue. Anybody not done gluing their plants on? So we're going to write our I can statement. So if you turn back to page 4 in your books, in your science notebook, actually page 3. Does everybody see this in their book? This is our standard that we're working on. This is going to be on our quarterly assessment. So these are all the things we're working on. We've already done the organs of the body, right? Can anyone see under number 2 where it talks about plants? Where does it talk about plants? What are the parts of the plants? What are their functions? Who can point it out to me? Who has it? Let me see it. If you have it, raise your hand. Sarah, what does it say?
I can identify the parts of a plant and describe the function of parts of a plant.
I can identify parts of a plant, describe function of parts of a plant, right here. Does everyone see it? This is what we're working on. Okay, these are all the things that we're working on. So now let's go back to page 6. We're going to write our I can statement. I can identify parts of a plant and describe their functions. It's up here on the board too, if you can't see mine. Go ahead and write that down. Writing it on the top of your paper. Do I have it? And identify. Okay. we're looking at our I can statement, what is this statement telling us? What are we learning? What are we doing? What does that say, Tyler? What did I just box?
Identify.
Identify. Everybody box that in. We are identifying and describing. So box and describe. What are we identifying? Anna, what are we identifying?
The parts of a plant.
Parts of a plant. Underline parts of a plant. And what are we describing? Alexis? Describing their functions. Everybody got that? And when you're finished with that, go on your Notability on your iPad and pull up our book. Pull up our book. Plants and how they grow. Right here. We have that. You guys should have downloaded it yesterday when we did it. Everyone should have it. If you don't have it, raise your hand. So before we read our book, I want to ask you a couple of questions. Let me get a marker. What do we already know about plants? What do you already know about plants? We know some things already. What do we know?
They are a living thing.
They are living things. What else do we know about plants? Hannah?
That they eat the sun energy.
They what?
They eat the sun's energy.
They eat the sun's energy. You know what that's called? Photosynthesis. Good job. So they use photosynthesis. You don't have to write this down. I'm just writing it for us. You're not writing it. Anything else that we know? Kaylee?
Like when the seed goes off, it'll like go in the wind and
So we know that plants come from seeds. Yeah. You guys learned a lot about how plants grow. We know that they're living things. We know they use photosynthesis, which is the sun's energy to make food. So now we're going to learn a little bit more about their functions, okay? So everybody scroll down to page 2. Go ahead and click on the highlighter because we're going to be highlighting. Okay? We're going to be looking for the functions in here. What's a function? Anyone know what a function is? What is a function? Saying what's a function? It's what it does. Yep. So we're figuring out what does a part actually do. How are we going to figure out what the function is from the book? How do we figure that out? When we're reading a book, how do we figure out this information? Tyler? You read it? Yeah. You read it. We can look for bolded words. Can help us find words that we're looking for. If you see vascular tissue, we can read what's around that to figure out what its function is. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. Anybody want to volunteer to read? Yes, I know you guys love to read. Sarah, will you read it really loud and proud for us, okay?
Okay.
Everybody follow along while she's reading with your fingers. Go
Look
ahead.
at this photograph of the rainbow. Rivers,
I'll do it for that.
based
Sound River.
in Brazil. Picture yourself walking beneath the towering trees. How many types of trees and other plants do you think you would see? A part of a rainforest is larger than a city. Many more than 400 different types of trees. Most forests in the United States have no more than 20 different kinds of trees in the same area.
Ooh. Keep going.
Whether they are in the forest of Brazil, the forest of the United States, or any place in any other country, all plants can be divided into two main groups.
All right. So 2 main groups. That sounds important, right? It says that they're only divided into 2 main groups. So get your highlighter out. We're going to highlight that while she reads it, okay? Everybody know how to do that, remember? Look up here on the highlighter, and then you use one finger. So Sarah, go ahead and read what the 2 main groups are. We're going to highlight it.
Vascular plants and non-vascular plants. Vascular plants such as trees and vascular tissue. Vascular tissue supports plants and carries water and food. Non-vascular plants such as mosses do not have vascular tissue to carry water and food.
So we see that vascular plants is in bold, so we know that's important. So we're going to highlight vascular tissue and the function. It says that the function is that it supports plants and carries water and food. So go ahead and look in your science notebook, and you'll see that one of our parts is vascular tissue, which you can also call that veins. It can also be called veins in the plant. You might see either word, okay? So go ahead and write the function there. Write it right next to where it says vascular tissue. What is the function? Supports plants and carries water and food. Everybody have what I have? That's our function. We said function is what it does. So we know that the vascular tissue or the veins, you can write veins too, it supports the plant and carries water and food. So write that next to vascular tissue. We have that? You're not done. We're going to do it on our own, so you can go back and add more to it. So let's scroll down to the next page. You make sure you use 2 fingers. You have to scroll with 2 fingers, otherwise it highlights a big line. So 2 fingers go up like this, and it'll scroll down. Does everybody see what I see? If you're not on the same page I'm on, raise your hand. Ask your neighbor for help. Let's see. You got it? Okay. You could add notes, yeah. Let's see that everybody's got it. Okay, awesome. Let's pick somebody to read. Number 4. Okay, go ahead and read this one for us.
No, vascular plants do not have true roots, stems, or leaves, although they do not have structures.
They do have structures.
They do have structures that look like each of those parts. No vascular plant can only pass water, nutrients, and food from one cell to the next.